Okay, hello, everybody. We're just going to do, this is like a coffee chat. It's not going to be like standing up teaching and this is the way you do. We were just talking here about what you do with a phone call and while we were waiting. And that would be more like a classroom. This is just serious talk that helps you think your way through maybe a different attitude about real estate agents and what really our job is. And I guess I can, can you imagine, I guess I've been doing it 38 years. Lee was one of my students, and of course he had no choice but to follow what he learned. I don't know, some of you are in Tennessee and things, but Terry Eisenhower is the #1 producer in probably Western North Carolina. And definitely Hendersonville. I mean, what is her production, Christy?
Last year, I think she had an off year and it was 33 million.
I trained her. So when people, this is what I'm about to teach you is the one thing most ignored in real estate. And if I can teach you this, you will learn it. You will be so hungry to learn it without me or without anybody that you will go kind of like I did, and you will reach out to other trainers. You will memorize it. You will live with it. This is the #1 reason people fail. So you'll thank me if you will do what I'm telling you, and it's up to you how you do it. But if you will listen to what I'm saying, anybody getting out of real estate business did not do what I'm saying, okay? And it's not from me, it's from the trainers who taught me, who taught them, and it's just common sense. If I can, I guess I'm going to use Jeff beside me to answer some questions. And I'm going to ask you, what is your profession, Jeff?
I'm a real estate agent out of Western North Carolina.
Okay. And who do you work for?
I'm an independent broker. I'm represented by, is that an independent broker? Right? Okay.
And do you understand what independent broker means?
No.
Okay. That's good. I love his honesty. Independent broker means you are the boss. Okay. There's lots and lots of people that get in the real estate business, and half of them are out in 2 years. Just a fact. And why is that? Is it because they didn't do this, they didn't do that? No, there's one reason, and it's called time management. You are your boss. You got into real estate so you could have flexible hours. Is that correct? You could make a lot of money. You can do work when you want to, vacation when you want to. You don't feel like getting up. You have the freedom to go wherever you want to without a structure. Okay. Someone else is just coming on, Chris.
Okay.
Okay. How many hours do you work a day? How many hours do you work a day? And I want you to ask yourself, I don't know how long you've been in the business or anything like that, but we're going to just follow with me. How many hours, just quickly?
Right now, 4 or 5.
Okay.
That's it. I know it's not enough now, but I'm.
Okay, but you're 4 or 5. Okay. 4 or 5, he gave an honest answer. And so, like we said, who is your boss?
Me.
So if you work 4 or 5, are you a good boss?
I don't know.
Well, if you work for, okay, let's say you work for a bank and you've got to, how many hours would you work?
8.
Okay. And any other job, okay, we've got work 8. So we've got 4 or 5 hours. So we see if he's truly working 4 or 5 hours, truly, which a lot of agents don't, they might not work one day or they might work 2 hours, that kind of thing. But can you see where if we work 8 hours, that especially when we're beginning, how successful we'd be? I mean, really working. Okay. So I'm going to look at notes because I made these a week ago, and I have thoughts as I go. In North Carolina, you're an independent contractor. You work for yourself. So you have the right to fail and you have the right to succeed. And what is the number one reason is time management. I would love to tell you it was because they didn't know how to do an expired, or they didn't know how to write a contract, but that's not true. So I'm going to show you a technique that was taught by someone in New Orleans for me when I went to a seminar, and it's called time blocking. You are a company. Okay, so let's say you work for ABC Realty and you're failing. It's not ABC's. If they've given you tools or ideas or another trainers or people come in, and this isn't you personally, I'm talking about you being in a large audience. Okay, so you take what you get out of it. It's nothing to anybody personally. So you have the ability to control your career, but you also have the ability to fail. Okay. I guess over the years I've trained, I've seen very talented, trust me, very talented individuals that should have absolutely burnt the woods up, like a Terry or like a Lee. Lee was one of my probably my top producers, and he had no choice. And I knew Terry personally, and she had no choice. So I would bear down on them more than I would somebody, you know, because I knew them and they'd forgive me for being mean. But you have, if you want to fail, you can. Is that take a smooth talker? No. Have you seen real estate agents? You're going, oh my gosh, how in the world do they make a living with that personality? Have you seen them? I mean, honestly, and I'm going, oh, well, I really like her. I mean, you can go to a board meeting and going, I don't understand. How does she get, they have their own way of coming across. But probably it's not personality, would you say? It's numbers. It's a numbers game. And so they're doing their numbers, however they do their numbers, whether it's center of influence, whether it's their church or whatever they're doing, they're reaching the people, or it's floor duty. We have two agents, Dave Stansel, who did, Chris, help me.
He's done more this production this year than he has probably ever.
Since he's been with us, and it's been, so what, let me tell you what, people don't want to do floor because it's boring. I have done it and I've not had anyone. All it takes is one. I know Ann Linhart has $1 million person, and she sold them. It closed recently. And that it was from last year, but she worked them all the way through. And now they're subdividing that property and going to be selling houses as they build them. So it's a double whammy. It just was a floor call. Some will be walk-ins, but Dave Stansel will grab when no one's here and doesn't show up or decides, you know, whatever. Dave will grab their floor duty. So remember, that's a time management thing. Okay, just kind of be. So since you are now your boss, and it's up to you to be successful or not, and it doesn't matter the personality, how you look. It's absolutely. If you can go look at other people, you're saying, how does she do it? I don't understand that. How does that work? And I'm this, and I do everything. They've got it down to time management, because after a while, you just keep on, and they will come in. It might take a few months. It might take a few weeks. Who knows? But you keep on and you get better at it. So what do we do? Well, we know, and I'll write it here. Can they see me, Chris? Yeah, it's STP. Can they see that? I don't know if it's shining.
Can y'all see that? Yeah.
It's STP. It's called See the People. Okay. This sounds like a prospecting seminar I'm doing. I'm not, because we would go into cold calls, what we call, or warm calls, we'll call it that. Or we would go into expireds, FSBOs, or something. We're not doing that. I'm just telling you, it piggybacks prospecting. Okay. So the more people you see or talk to, the more results you're going to get it. So if you see 10 people in a month or talk to 10 people, you don't have to see them, but if you connect with them, you have a chance of 10 somethings if they're motivated buyers or sellers. Okay, but we're going to talk about sellers because that's what Lee and Terry Eisenhower did, and that's what I really think everybody needs to work on is sellers and let buyers be gravy. Okay, so we're going to do 10 people. So you can, but if you in a month contact, let's just say 50, you've got 50 that somebody's going to fall in and have to do something. Okay. If you are a bank teller, and I was one when the boys were little, and we had to be there at a certain time, we had to balance it. We flipped it to balancing in the morning. We had to be ready to open the doors by being in balance at 9 o'clock. People came in. I took my assignment for my lunch was I think at 12:30. Then I had to be back at 1:30. And then I had to work till 5. We had to put our cash drawer open up and lock it in the safe. If I'm an Ingalls manager and I'm all over the big Ingalls, I have stock boys I have to supervise. I have to be in there to train them. I have duties that reports to the head office, and they have a certain time that they're doing certain things. Medical salesperson. Okay, so you're going to a medical salesperson. They've got to see so many doctors a day. And for them to keep their job, and I know medical salespeople make good money. If they're hitting the doctors, they're making a lot of money. But they have to be on the road, traveling, and you'll see them walk into a doctor's office coming into with their things that the doctor will take the time to talk to them even before your appointment. Then I know that one was my friend's husband, absolutely made a lot of money. Eastern part of the states, and they went to Duke and all that stuff and sold to them and made lots of money. A teacher has to come in. They've got the certain hours. They have to, so there's always a boss of a boss, okay? So what I'm trying to say is if I'm going to go in and be a teacher, I have a boss. And I have a daily schedule that I have to meet or I won't be a teacher or I won't be a medical salesperson. In real estate, we don't have that. They have the right to fire me or really watch my production or see what I'm doing. We do not have that. A broker is just something like Christy is here to help you, and or Lee or whoever, Kim or whoever is here to help you, but they can't make you. And they can't fire you. You can decide you want to leave, or they'll, you can, it's up to you. So a pre-licensing real estate teacher, I taught brokerage operation for a long time in Asheville. And you have to go in, give the people what they want and do your hours and be prepared. In the same way with you, anything is responsible except you now are an independent contractor. So you only answer to yourself. And when you get wounded out there, and you will, you kind of throw your time management to the wind. So let me tell you what happens on time management with mine. And I hope you're different, but I haven't seen many. Maybe 10% of the people can do this. Maybe 20. I think that's pushing it. I did have a girlfriend who could work from home, and she stayed in her office and did what she was supposed to do. And then she would have lunch or whatever, and she planned her day. And she did well. Mine will be, I start off a lot, right? But I'm not a morning person, okay? So I've got to get ready. Then I've got to take the dogs out. So I'm back at my desk and I have a beautiful home office. So then I think, oh my gosh, those dogs got to go outside. So I go outside. So then I'm thinking, I'll put those clothes in the dryer. Let me go in there. Now, this is me and I know better. So I go put the clothes in and I say, well, I'll throw a load in. Well, I think it might be lunchtime now. Now it's 11:30, but I'm going to eat lunch. Okay. So I'm going to fix my lunch and everything. I say, okay, now I'm ready. It's after lunch. I think what I'll do. So I will decide I'm going to prospect. This is when I'm going to prospect. So I call a friend and I talk to her for 20 minutes. No, I don't need to talk to her 20 minutes. So I'm telling you, this is my downfall because I'm a talker, and it's actually was Lee's downfall. Okay. I don't think it was Terry's, but anyway. So what I'm telling you is you've got to plan your day, and it's called time blocking. And some of you might have already seen this. Okay, I need someone. Can I have interaction in here, Christy?
Yeah, you can talk to anyone.
Okay.
They may need to unmute themselves.
Okay, so tell me what morning. Tell me if you're a morning person or an afternoon person. Just yell it out.
Kim Aldridge is a morning person. She starts at 3 a.m. It's ridiculous.
Did you hear that, Kim? She said you start at 3 a.m. I don't think she can hear.
Kim, can you hear
I
me?
do. I typically do
does
start
It's
very
ridiculous.
early.
Oh, I hate you. I am not. Okay, somebody else say, are they morning or afternoon? What's the consensus?
I'm not a morning person, but I am up at 3:30 in the morning.
Okay.
What?
When do
'Cause
you
I
get started?
4:30.
When do you feel like getting started? Really started?
Well, I'm at the gym at 4:30, so that's my starting.
Man, I thought I was.
Okay, so are you ready to work at that time?
Workout.
Okay, that's
like,
good. Yeah, work. When would your prime time to work?
probably 8.
Okay, that's good. You're a morning person. Okay. Anybody else? I need to know. Afternoon. I'm definitely at 11 o'clock on. I don't know.
usually get started around 8.
Kim starts at 8.
Okay. All right. So
So all of them morning.
you're morning persons. I hate you all. I love that sleeping time. Okay. So here's an 8. And you can't talk to people. You cannot talk to people at 8 o'clock in the morning, right? They're not ready, and you don't make a phone call before 9. Okay. So let's start our day at 9 and 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. Okay. What are you going to do? And this is what you've got to do every day. It's not, I think I'll do it 3 days a week. If you're full-time agents, you're going to have your schedule of what you do when. Okay. Just like you do if you're a medical salesperson, or if you're at Ingalls, they have a certain time that they do every day. Lee has a certain time, and as a manager, he has a certain time he does. My husband owns European Motor Works. He has a certain time he does, and we have 3 or 4 businesses that he does something with each company. So Suzanne, I'm okay. I could do 10. Okay. I could do 11 better, but I will do 10. I can do 10, especially when I was younger. So I'm going to prospect. The most important thing that you can do is stick to it. And you're supposed to prospect 2 hours a day. To be a top producer, prospect 2 hours a day. That isn't a lot out of 8 hours if you were working an 8-hour, and be fair, but you could work 6 hours, but 2 hours of it. So I would take lunch, of course. I've got to have a reason to quit, and I would come back and prospect, because it's my body. It's my body the way I made. Okay. I wish I was a morning person. So, because I'd have it done from 9 to 12, then I would be done with what so that is your A time. A time is the most important thing you'll do for your career. And A time is prospecting. And prospecting is making contacts with either face-to-face, by telephone, or by mail, okay? So we have mail. People say, well, I don't like, you gotta have a combination. So face-to-face is your number one. You want to be where you can see the people, okay? If it's people you know, or you want to go to a gathering, or you want to join the chamber or whatever, you want to do face-to-face and meet people. If
So-
it's going to a bar, and having a margarita, which, that you go to occasionally and they get to know you, and it's not, an eatery, whatever you do, you're face-to-face, people get to know you. You want out where they know you.
So
Yes.
is that considered prospecting? I joined the chamber last Friday.
It can, yes,
So
yes.
that's considered prospecting,
Yes.
because there's two things coming up. on
Yes.
both of these.
Chamber, all kinds of get involved. You'll see the people that you're wanting. How do they ever get the first listing? And they're usually joiners. And they're usually it's either the chamber or the visitor center or some Rotary Club, a church group. Somehow they're seeing people. You cannot sit at home and not see people. Floor duty can be face to face. People come in, they just might be asking you where something is and say, you can just do your charming personality and saying, oh, well, it's down the street. And if you ever know of anyone, and what you do is you never ask them for their business, you always ask them, while you're here, it's just a perfect time. Do you know someone thinking of making a move that I might help? You don't have to, you make it just chatty. And so they came in for direction, say, oh, yes, it is. I have Banana Moon referring people, and she's a clothing store in town because I buy clothes from her. And so you just, if someone comes on floor, say, yeah, it's down the street 2 blocks on the right. And it's good to see you, and come back if you're ever thinking of moving. And say, by the way, do you know of anyone? It's all called By the Way. And you're going, by the way, takes you from over here to here. It's a transition words. Okay, so face-to-face is the number one. Number 2 way to prospect is the telephone. They don't see your pretty face or handsome face, but you can hit more people. And that would be who you went to high school with, who's your neighborhood that you know. It can be anybody that you have worked with before, whatever. You come in. I got a church, well, I'll tell you that in the next one. Number 3 way, this is effective. Most effective is face-to-face. The next effective, I'm talking about results, is telephone. And the third and last way to take, but you always want to do this, is mail. So if people that you don't know, let's say I got a church roster, okay? And so I don't know some of these people, but I can send a happy Thanksgiving card. And I got it, when the members, they send out from the church. I'm just telling you, yours does it. Or if you have a roster from anybody, or you want to do a neighborhood that Christy, let's say, listed a house, and I'm not with her at all. I can ask Christy, can I tell 20? And I will tell the neighbors that we have just listed a house. Okay, and that's that when you get that off of Remax, you can get just listed or just sold. Or another agent sold our house and sold Christy's house. then I can ask, can I tell 20? Because she's not going to do it. Okay. And when I know she's not, I know a lot of people aren't doing it. So I've got, if I have 3 or 4 people in the office, I've got some contacts for several days by taking and asking them, and you have to have their permission to tell 20. So now let's say I did 4 listings. I've got 80 contacts that we just sold. We're pleased to announce that we've just sold, and it doesn't have to say I. Okay. So this is the importance. Face-to-face is the most powerful, will get you more results. Second is telephone, and third is mail. In exactly that order. So how do you plan your day? That's up to you because you are an independent contractor and you're the boss. So you come in and let's say that you are, I never think it's good at 9 o'clock. So I would go the 10 to 12 for your morning people. If I was afternoon person, I'd go from 1 to 3. Okay. And you can still work the 6 hours. You don't have to work. When you've done what you need to do, go home without any guilt. You don't have to do the 8 hours if you will jam pack everything in 2 to 4 hours. I'd say 4, but make them effective and really work it. And then you can do. So what is the other time? So if I'm a morning person, after lunch, I've done my 2 hours. In the afternoon, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, I'm going to do paperwork. Or I'm going to do mail, which is least. If I don't have paperwork like a listing or a CMA, then I'm going to mail my high school. I don't know how many went to school where they live, but I know I can look at my center of influence, who I went to school with, which I probably haven't seen in 20 years. Okay. Or we haven't even spoken in 20 years or 30 or 40, but I'm going to mail them something. It might be it's fall is happening next week, I think, the 21st. It might be something about fall. It might be Thanksgiving. The leaves are falling, and so are prices. Have you ever thought about mailing your, you've got to be a little creative. If you're not, there's all kinds of stuff on the internet that helps you, or you'll get ideas from other agents. Okay. Steal it. They stole it from someone. Steal it. It's an idea, steal it. And I love marketing. So I had a pink building. It was called Habitat Realty, and it was gorgeous downtown. And so we love marketing. That's where Lee gets his marketing. We just love ideas, and we'll sit and with slogans and stuff. Laura and all of us used to sit years ago and just make it fun. And so Buffini has wonderful ideas. It's called, what do they call them, Chris? Popeyes. Go out and take flower seeds to neighbors, or figure out what you're going to do. Might be time after you have done if you don't have anything like a CMA, or you're ready to do your paperwork on a listing, you don't have anything to do, you're going to have to figure out where's your next client coming from, because it's like once you've got that client, it's gone. You've got to get another one. So you're filling your basket back, always filling your basket up. But you got to have a plan. It's like going from here to Dallas. How am I going? Where am I stopping to spend the night? When do I need to walk the dogs on my way? Do I take I-40? Do I go down by the lower part, Biloxi down that way? How am I going, and where am I going to stay in between? Is it going to be Little Rock? You got to know where you're going. So if you know that every day you're going to hit your desk or the office and do your face-to-face and your telephone, obviously you'll leave the office to do face-to-face. You're going to do it probably when there's a meeting or a chamber, something, or when you're going out tonight to eat, we eat at the same restaurant, so they kind of get to know us. They'll tell somebody, say, I got a friend that wants to sell. That's how you're going to get leads, is being seen. So if you're not seeing the people through eating or somehow, then you're going to have to go on the phone, and which is okay, but it's going to be less, and it can be, but make you 20 calls. We used to prospect, I think we used to say it took 100 phone calls to get a lead. That was years ago. And so I had an agent said, oh, this isn't working. And he was from Bavard, and he drove all the way to, and he was older, and he didn't have a great personality, sweet as he could be if you knew him, but he wasn't a natural. He didn't practice his scripts. So even though we role played, he didn't practice it. And so, but he was getting better. And after about the 20th phone call, 40th, he said, this isn't working. And Lee was there at the time, I'll never forget. And they were kind of friends. He was older. He said, this isn't working. I don't believe it. And about the 95th phone call, if he didn't pop one off, but he was determined that it wasn't working. So, but his voice and his presence and learning those skills, he didn't have those skills, so he had to learn them. And there's certain words that are friendlier, and we were just talking about it, that are non-threatening. So telephone and then mail, and have your picture on everything, and be without being too cute. And then if it's the one I like the best, is going and saying this is the award for best lawn monthly yard. Okay, you've run, you know how they have yard of the month, or say, I just had to stop and tell you, you've got the prettiest yard, I believe, in this whole neighborhood. Even if you don't have an award, just say, every time I drive by, I'm just amazed. People love to be complimented. Or let's say you saw something in the yard, yard art or something like that, and say, I ask you, I wouldn't copy you, but I would like to know where you've got your, your lawn, whatever it is, fountain, who did your fountain work or whatever. And so is this making sense? See, I have people, I'm not here, I'm just saying, I've had people come in, and they come in and they don't know what to do. I'm saying, you don't know, but you've had this training and you don't know what to do. Okay, so they come in and they talk, or if they're on the floor, they play games. Okay, on their phone, they're playing games. I've seen them back when they don't have the newspaper anymore much, but I've seen them read newspapers. And I'm going, you got 2 hours of floor and you can't find something business-wise to do. Probably Ingalls would fire them. Probably the medical people would fire them. So I'm going, this is unbelievable. So we used to then have to have a talk. Well, then, people, they just don't, they do know, but it's not worth it. And I've seen people's careers go down, and they think it's the market. The market never goes down to those people prospecting. And they don't like the word. I'd like to come up with a better one. Looking for clients might be it. Maybe that's a better one. Making friends, if that would be a better word. Because you have to be there, you have to kind of be their friend anyway. Let's see what else I wrote down. Like I said, this isn't a training. This is like talking. Let's say on your planning, on blocking, you have a Sunday, and you're going to have an open house for 2 hours. Okay, you've got to block that in on that Sunday. Plan your month out as best you can, month at a time instead of week at a time. So plan, you don't have a listing, borrow one. If I have a listing, borrow one of mine. I mean, if you're in this town, borrow somebody's and say, are you holding? And they'll say, well, no, I'm not. So can I hold it? That's seeing the people. Okay, buyers or sellers. We're not looking, of course, I want you to do more sellers because buyers will come. If you have the listing, buyers will come. So, but buyers or sellers, but when they go to an open house and you blocked it off on that Sunday, then they'll come and they'll be sellers because they're in the neighborhood and they're thinking of moving, or they're thinking of selling and they want to look at houses first. My daughter, my husband's daughter is thinking of moving and she's going to houses right now on open houses. So figure out when you're on your time schedule. When are you going to work on Instagram? What times do you work on Instagram, or do you work on Facebook? Okay, I don't know. So we go in here and it's not going to be when you're prime time. I mean, in the morning, it's probably going to be in the afternoon. So number one is prospecting, but number two is prep time. So you're preparing. So that's your day. And I do suggest you get on Facebook and Instagram, even though I'm old timey, even I like to watch and I see who's out there and who's doing things. I think it's the way it's going to be. Make it very professional, but that's time. Let's see what else.
By the way, if you know who Glenda Baker is, she's very famous with Remax and does a lot of videos outside of Atlanta. She always wears stars. She blocks times on a certain day and she does her videos for the whole month. So that time blocking for her would be that afternoon of one day. And then she has enough made to go through and she schedules them.
That's what I'm saying. So when you have this whole week, and you've got your calendar opened up, you do it probably on Sunday, you do it on Saturday. I don't know what personality, but you do it and you have your week lined out instead of going in and saying, okay, I really could do, and I've been guilty of this, so I'm not making, and none of you probably are probably doing it right, but I'd go, okay, well, let's see, I've got to get, what am I going to do today? Okay, and I see it in people. Okay, I see it in people here. Okay, and but so you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and also. So we know from 10 to 12, you're going to be either on the phone or you're going. You have a chance to go down the street, down Main Street or wherever you have a chance to go, but you're going to be on the phone to other people. You can't hit the numbers face to face that you can hit on the phone, and it's a numbers game. Listings, sales is a numbers game, but you might hit a couple of people on your way home face to face, or you'll stop by a produce thing, leave your card. I know top realtor here, worked for Century 21, have a name tag and went to McDonald's and they needed a realtor. So wear your name tags. We used to have a van that had Chrissy's our picture on it on either side, or you can get the magnetic sign. Let people know, don't be a secret agent, and you do it through time blocking. So here's major prospecting. That means on the phone probably, and some face-to-face. And over here is the prep time. That would be Instagram. And if you're not using, she was using Floor to write cards. That's great, because if not, it'd be a waste of time if you're just sitting here playing games. She was using fold over cards that had Remax on them. And I came in and I said, oh, I'm impressed. So, but you can do Instagram, Facebook, open houses. You schedule it and you have to do flyers and you want them to go to the neighbors at till 20 and you want them. So you design it this afternoon. That's where you do, but 2 hours of prospecting a day, active prospecting, and then in the afternoons. So you go, so Wednesday, you might work on Instagram. This one, you might work on a broker's open house on Thursday. Broker's open. Or you're gonna tell 20 in the mail. You know, that you're gonna tell 20. So this is when, let's say Tuesday, you're going to already have asked the agents, or you've got a list and you're gonna do the tell 20. You've got to know what you're doing, at least heavy hitting for 4 hours a day. If you get so busy, the 8 hours will take care of itself, because you'll have to work on paperwork and stuff longer. And then you'll have buyers come in, all kinds of stuff. But if you are really, really working your calendar and time blocking in 2 hours at a time, 2 hours of heavy prospecting. Now, if I was an afternoon person, really, truly an afternoon person, I would have to start, I'd have to do that here and reverse it. But I'm good at, I could do it at 10 if I had to. 11 would be better for me, but 10, I could do 10 to 12. And then I would come back, and we used to have to go get deeds at the, and from the Register of Deeds. We had to go get everything. So we did our footwork in the afternoon. That way you go home and said, I did my very best. I don't sleep. You know, I've seen agents as that I've trained them in over 6 months. They gun ho, and then they go, I start seeing less of them in the office. And then they kind of drop their eyes when they see me. And because they feel like they're not doing what they're supposed to be. And I know when an agent's going out the door or going out, but I know when they're not doing what they're supposed to do. And the excitement of doing it, and it feels so good to get it done. And I would make prospecting exciting. And how can you do it professionally but fun? And I've told, we have a candy place. It's called, what is it, Chris? Van's Chocolate. And they have, my husband gives, I've got them started. We've had large candy kisses made. I'm talking about like this big. And to our clients, we give them the candy kiss. It's wrapped in red, and it's good chocolate. Okay, I think it cost us $1.25 a piece. And so we get about 30 of them. And the funny thing is, we put them in a box. We'd come in and we had this candy stuff all over the floor. And I'm going, what's this red? What is this? It was a rat in the night that got in the box.
They got the fattest rat on the face of the earth.
Yeah, and it was trying to take it back in the hole. And I'm going, my daughter, like other daughter, like to have flipped out. I mean, we're talking rat. So we had to start putting them in a cover thing. We had no idea, you know. So, but anyway, they also have a thing, the chocolate, and you have it probably too somewhere making things. A chocolate bar from Vans that looks like a business card, but you put your business card in a triangle thing. This is marketing. I just love it. So you put it, you tuck your business card in, and when you meet people, you're giving them something. So through this, you take those cards through your marketing, and you'll say, I'm going to do on the phone and stuff like this. In the afternoon, I'm going to do mailing or whatever, or I'm gonna go see the people. So you're going to see the people, and let's say I take 10 of those candy things card, and I will try to get some and send them to the broker offices so they can show what it is. But it can be anything. And I would go down, let's say wherever I'm going, that I feel like I'm going to go pay the light bill. I'm going to go pay my, and the girl that waits on me or takes my payment, I'm going to give her that candy, looks like a business card, and inside, and it's got a packaged pretty, but it has that insert that you can put your card on that. And I'm going to say, well, thank you for being so nice to helping me, whatever. Your card's on the back. Okay. They appreciate being appreciated, and they will remember you. Okay. The only thing we've got is we've got a masseuse that we pay money to monthly for a massage. I think most of my family goes to her. And I can't get her. She's got a realtor, and I have tried every which way I can to get her over this way for us to do it. And she bought a house. It hurt my feelings, but she likes us, but she's not leaving us, so she's very loyal. So sometimes that'll happen. That disappoints me, but I'm glad she's loyal. So does it make sense? You can do things, schedule your time, planning your things, you'll do better. If you're doing it at home, it's fine, as long as you really do it and you set your time. Think about, how you're going to do a billboard. You've got to plan time in your 8 hours after you've done your stuff that you're supposed to do and you don't have any more to do. Then spend time on your career, like I like expireds, and you're going to offer them staging. I'm a frustrated decorator. I love it. And so tell them what's wrong. It's too cluttered. We just had to tell one of our best friends yesterday, she has a lot of cleaning up to do, and she's got a lot of clutter. And then I had to call her this morning, tell her she's got to paint one of her doors the same color as the other one. And so, and she's good. She does cabinets and for people. And tell them box up the furniture, extra stuff, and put it in the garage. Plan what you're going to do. This week I'm going to I think you plan who you're going to talk. How can you be better? So you got to have a talk with yourself sometime as you're coming down. What am I not doing? Where's the most listings? So you've got to be a planner, just like my husband's planning how many cars that he can do a day, and we're short a man in the shop. How can he get more cars out? Everybody's got to plan the thing, and it just doesn't come. Does it make sense? Does any of this make sense?
Does anyone have any questions?
If you control your time instead of your time controlling you, you will be very successful. And I will tell you, I seriously, and I think a lot of them heard this, when Lee got out of college and he went to Texas and came back, he flitted around. Can y'all believe that? He's a flitter. So he flit, and wanted to talk. I know that's hard to believe, but he wants to talk. He was not doing time management whatsoever. I don't know how many times, and I had to be real rough on him, because he was only 23, okay? Grab his arm and pinch it as hard as I could. And I said, you better get busy. And he's scared of the phone. He couldn't call. I know he went in on a Saturday. He said, I'm going to call reluctance. I said, you better. So he went on a Saturday and he got a lead. Well, that kind of broke him over. Then he started liking expireds. But you plan your day, and so who you're going to call, mine would be for sale by owners instead of cold call. Mine would be for sale by owners and expireds during that calling. So this day I might do expireds, but I got to have my paperwork ready to know who's expired. Does that make sense? I mean, I can't go in and call at 10 o'clock. I've got to go in at 9. Or if I'm this person, I got to go in at 9, and I got to find out what the expireds were. Or I do them in the afternoon for the next day. Okay. Then you'll have to pull up to see if they've relisted overnight. Okay. So you're not calling someone who's relisted. Unless you can say, I'm sorry. They said, well, we relisted. And we'll say, oh, please forgive my ring. I'm sorry. You can do that. This day I might do on Wednesday, might be my FISBO day. And when I had my FISBO day, because I planned it down here that I'm going to do FISBO this day, then I am going to have what I'm going to give a FISBO. And what I'm going to say, and you'll have that script. You'll be given scripts, and I'm sure you've been given scripts on for sale by owners. But that's the 2 people where I'm going to work. You can count on it. Lee's going to be expired all day long. Mm-hmm. He's so good. was the king of expireds in Henderson County. But I made him be. He couldn't get by not feeling like it, okay? Plus he was living at home for a while and I wanted him gone, okay? So you're gonna say, I'm doing FISBOs today, I'm doing expireds, then I'm gonna do my center of influence. Your center of influence, but you've gotta have it on your schedule. You can say, I'm gonna prospect, what does that mean? Well, you can't come in. One more thing I'm gonna tell you, and this is a motherly advice, okay? I know that it's the world of working at home. I know it is. And if you or I had a friend that was fantastic working at home. I don't get the synergy. It used to be the competitiveness, friendly. We used to have a friendly, competitive, and people would hear. I had a upstairs office too. You could hear, got one, by your colleague who you love, and you're thrilled for them, but you want to beat them. Okay. So when we had somebody, oh, hear this, and it's that synergy you get from being in the office of people, or I listen to people and ideas, or I could hear, when I first started, I could hear ideas, or they'll say, I don't know what to do. I'm not getting anywhere. And they'll say, well, take a break and blah, blah, blah. And this is what I do. Come back, go get a cup of coffee or whatever, and come back and get your attitude. It's just helpful. You'll hear things in the office without talking to them too much, because you're going to go in your power. So if you can go in an office and you can quietly make your phone calls or whatever you're doing, get in a business fashion. And that's me. Now, if you can do it at home and stay at it, that's wonderful. I cannot, so I know myself, I know me. And I heard a girl, we were at Binion's Steakhouse, and a couple was from Michigan and they worked from home. And the office was in Michigan. So I said, golly, so you're working from home? Yeah, we can do the same thing. She did, I think she stayed straight. And she did her job. He said he took naps. After lunch, he took naps, but they didn't know it. That's what he said. I said, you don't think they'll know it when their production's not there? And he said, no, I don't think so. He said, I don't think they'll know it. And I said, they will eventually. But he took his nap. If he had 12 to 1, he took a nap from 1 to 2. And that's what I think they're saying, that you're not getting the synergy. And I don't know if the word said is like anything, but you're doing it together. And I'm not saying that's you, but if you'll go in the office more, and if you'll take floor more, you can use that time. If you're in the morning, you can use that time. You might be on the phone and someone call in, or so you can't prospect real well, but you can do mail, or you can plan what you're doing. You can use that time efficiently on floor time. But people here and I've sat many years without anybody walking in, but then we have walk-ins or call-ins, whichever one, and you miss maybe pop one off. It's just gravy from your prospecting. If you get, let's say you got like Dave, he's double his income. And I mean, he's like, if I wanted to take that floor duty, he's got it covered if I'm not here. Because whoever, if not, they don't show up. But remember, there is call-ins. They'll see the sign and they will call in. So that's part of it. So take floor, put it on your schedule, work the schedule. It all starts with a schedule. Okay. Does that help? Does it help? Does it put it in? It puts it in perspective exactly where it is. Be a good boss to yourself. And you tell yourself what you're going to do. So it's like you've seen people talking. Yes, this is what you're going to do. Well, I really don't want to do that. But you understand you are going to do it. Okay. It's like you're talking to yourself, but I really don't like that. then you say, suck it up. So anyway, make it fun. Just make it fun and make it creative. I love you all. Lee does not pay me. Let's talk about him and trash him for a while, okay? Okay. So when you see him, say you're working at slave labor. Anytime I do anything, it's slave labor and you're cheap. And he doesn't even buy my lunch. So just remember to get him when he comes. Love you all. Bye. I don't know how to get that off of the. Of
I
course.
think maybe we should power it off just in case of.
It was so helpful. Wasn't really, it really was. I wish one said to each thing.